Y'all, I had this guy one night, and I was dancing for him, and usually you kind of just go by, if you're back there in the couch room doing dances, you just kind of just keep on doing dances. You don't want to say give me the money, because then that stops them, and you just expect they're going to pay you at the end. Well, this guy kept getting dance after dance after dance for me, but he kept saying, take your stripper heel and kick me in the balls with it, harder, harder. And I was like, oh fuck, okay, I'm getting paid to kick this guy in the balls. Sweet, sweet. Well, I kept on and on and on kicking this guy in the balls. I'm talking about, I don't even know how he even had balls. At this point, I think he might have had a vagina. He was a big fat guy. He wanted to smell my shoes. He wanted to smell my shoes. He wanted to be kicked in the balls. It was just weird as fuck, okay? Well, he kept on getting handsy, and I was like, no. And the bouncer would come back there, and he would act like he wasn't doing anything, you know. This was a huge strip club. Well, when it was time for me to get paid, after I was like, this is the weirdest fucking situation. This guy's, I feel like he was a serial killer. And I'm wondering how many serial killers I actually came in contact with, because I guarantee there was a lot. There was a lot of weird guys that were always, you know, some of them were very strange, and you were wondering, like, where are you from, and, you know, what's going on with you. And that's like a main place that serial killers would go to look for a girl, to try to get you to meet them. And he kept trying to meet me after, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do that, blah, blah, blah. Well, at the end, he owed me like, I don't know, like $300. He could have just went to a VIP, because like VIPs back then for an hour or for like 30 minutes were like $300, I think. And then you could do a whole hour for like 500, you know, and it was more private, and you talk a big game to get them up there, and, you know, so I was wondering, why does this guy want me to kick him in the balls back here where everybody can see? I mean, there was people, there are couches around that can see me kicking the shit like I'm kicking a field goal on his balls. And he was getting off on this, okay? He was like, let me smell your shoes. Like, and I'm not gonna lie, like any stripper, you go into a club and you ask any stripper to take their stripper heel off and let you smell it, it is not gonna smell good. I don't give one fuck who it is. I don't care how many showers, blah, blah. Your feet stink, okay? He kept wanting to say, he was smelling my shoe the entire time I'm dancing for him. I was like, like what in the fuck? Okay. So, and also I used to sell my shoes, like stinky shoes. And because once they get so smelly, the only thing you could do is a trick to do would be to put them in a Ziploc bag, and you can put them in your freezer, and that would get rid of the smell. That's like a super trick like strippers would have. But anyway, this guy was just loving, like, you know, my feet, if you smell my shoe right now, it wouldn't stink. But of course, you're like walking around all night long, dancing in them, taking them off, putting them on, stepping on the nasty carpet in there. You know, your feet fucking stink. The motherfucker was getting off on stinky ass shoe smelling while I was dancing for him. And so I would turn my back, like, you know, to like show him my ass and bend over and stuff like that. And I could hear him going, yeah, like smelling it. And I would be going, what the fuck? So anyway, so the dances were over. He owed me like $300 something. And I was like, are you not going to pay? He's like, what do you mean I owe you that much money? I said, I kept telling you dances are $20. They were either 20 or 25. And I was like, I kept telling you how much it is. What do you mean you don't have the money? And I was sitting here thinking, which I got pleasure out of, like, you could have not paid me and I would have kicked you in the balls. Like, it was amazing. But I sat here and field goal kicked your nuts to straight through the field goal, made a field goal with your balls. And now you're telling me you don't owe me that much money. He tried to give me a 20, and I was like, what the fuck? And you have to pay the bouncer when you walk out of the couch room at this club. So it was $5 per dance, and they keep up with it. But if you were friends with the bouncer, you could just be like, here's a $5 for you, and just take a couple of these off. You know what I mean? Well, anyway, he was like, fuck you, bitch. Like, he starts acting like he's going to kill me, okay? Then he gets his fat ass up, and I didn't realize where he had taken, because you could choose. There was a bunch of couch rooms. I think he had done this before. There was a bunch of different couch rooms, and the one that he went back, there was probably, I don't know, 15 couch rooms, and the one in the back had like 5 couches in it, and the other ones only had like 2 couches in it. He had taken me to the one in the back that was by the emergency exit. So he jumped up after he was acting like he was going to beat me, and the bouncer was busy like taking people's money. He didn't see what was going on. And this fat motherfucker ran. First of all, I don't even know how he stood up after I kicked his nuts into his throat so many times. He stood up and ran out the emergency exit. Okay. So I never got my money. And from then on, if something weird was going on, I would start, saying, well, we've done $50 of dances, like give me 50 and we'll just continue to go, or whatever. But that was when what? Why? I thought it hurt, like if you got kicked in the balls. Like, this motherfucker had to have a vagina. He had a straight pussy. He had a straight pussy. He had to have. Crazy stripper stories.